Hi there, and welcome to the Call to Cinema for a special Call to Cinema Spotlight review. So, I was talking with the director a while back of this film here. Basically, what happened was one of my viewers sent me a package of films, and one of them really caught my eye, and I watched it and ended up reviewing it shortly thereafter. The director of that film, Vincent D'Amato, saw the review that I did, and I reached out to him because I was very interested in it. The movie is called Glass, and it was one of those movies. It's definitely an experimental film, an art film, and he's going along a kind of a neo Giallo, kind of like the Amir style, but going in his own unique direction with it. And I think that's what really caught my attention when it came to Glass, which starred, I think, Tira Dent, if I remember correctly. Well, she's a gorgeous actress, and she was very. I couldn't keep my eyes off her during the film, and I was bluntly honest when I talked about Glass because it was one of those films where it kind of challenged me to figure out what the hell's going on some of the times. Uh, Experimental films do that. They're not the don't often go with the typical like linear narrative that you would expect, and it's more along when you're looking towards like an art house cinema type of thing, and you want a film that you're gonna like kind of experience rather than just sit back and watch an autopilot. And that's so there were other films. It was a Bravito Giallo trilogy. Now I have not seen the third one in the collection, but I was sent this one here by the director after doing the review for Glass, and it's been a while to get around to it because there's been a lot of stuff going on, which I do apologize. But this is Reversed. Now, Reversed is an interesting little film. It stars Victoria Hopkins and Zoe Wellman, and it's unique. I mean, within the first 5 minutes of this film, I will be honest, when the credits are rolling up and we're seeing like these sequences and things don't seem to be like shot in kind of a linear order and a fashion. I knew this was going to be one of these again where I was going to be kind of confused, unsure of exactly where I was going to go with this. And often for a lot of these films, you honestly, you watch 5 minutes and some people are like, oh no, I don't get that. But for a film like this, it's something where you kind of got to lean back and enjoy the ride and see where it takes you. And once you've ingested it all and thought about it for a bit, then you can decide like your actual thoughts on the film. So that's what I did. I actually watched this movie twice. I watched it once with the way that that's meant to be watched, with the music and the very little like Italian dialogue that's in the film. Although this is shot by a Canadian director, I'm pretty sure Canadian Vince. Let me know if I'm wrong. But this was shot in London, and it was shot in Milan, and there was a pickup shot that was done in Vancouver, in BC. So, but primarily most of this is shot in London with some in Milan. And this was interesting, I have to say. The second time I watched it with the audio commentary. I do recommend, if you do watch this film and you're still unsure, or you're like, okay, what's exactly what's going on there? Watch it again with the commentary. He's not there to explain the film out to you, but he does go through a lot of really interesting details when it comes to the making of the film and how things were changed, how the lead actress actually left the film after just a couple days shooting, and they had to like change some stuff up there. Now, when I say that Vince D'Amato is an experimental film director, I'm not joking. I'm being completely serious. The script for Reverse was 15 pages long, and the very first thing that he wanted to do when he was making this film was that he wanted to show the people that were coming in the script, and if they got that the film was 15 pages long and this could still be a feature-length film, fantastic. They kind of at least had a bit of the vision for what he was going with. If they looked at it and said, "Is this a short?" he automatically knew that they were probably not going to get it, no matter how much he explained what it was. And at the beginning of this film, I didn't get it. I think it was about like I was fascinated. There's a lot of like homage to other films in here, and a lot, especially to, although it's a kind of like the I think he went along like the Amir, the kind of the line that style thing. I don't think that that's really in the way that it goes. At least I didn't see it like that. The way that I saw it was much more homage to to some of the Giallo Jason films. So the Brian De Palma stuff. So there is stuff here that will remind you a lot of Body Double, which is my favorite Brian De Palma film. There's specifically one scene, the Body Double, and Dress to Kill too. You can do it with Dress to Kill as well. There's a scene where this girl is kind of is played by she's being stalked, Victoria Hopkins, and she turns it around on her stalker, and they go under this area, this kind of this alcove, this type, and they start to make out, and it's very much like a scene from Body Double with Craig Wasson and Deborah Shelton. I know a lot of people can take it, and like if you haven't seen Body Double, maybe you'll see it. Think of like the taxi scene in Dress to Kill, but I really saw it more of like a Body Double type of scene. Now there are things in here from that seems to me that really are from a director that he doesn't reference, and one of my favorite directors. So there are Franco-esque aspects to this film, and I'm not quite sure if he tried that. I don't think he did actually, but he does things in a way that I do like he references, and when he's being talked in the interviews and stuff, he talks about Argento, and he talks about Fulci, but there are some like Franco Rollin type things that kind of come through for me, especially in the style of the eroticism, not like to the intent or the extent of like you would see something being done with a Franco where it's a zoom close in type like really intense type of thing. But there is eroticism that's used as not just for nudity, or not just okay, look, there's an erotic scene because it's a giallo, but as like a story beat for the film. One in particular that's very important, and you'll understand it more when you get to the third act of the film, because there are some nice little mind twists in this one here, and it's one that I recommend that you check out. And I will say this, I'll be honest right now, this will not be for everyone. It is an experimental film, and that for some people that's going to be like that's going to be like kind of a step away type thing. I do, however, I love this style of cinema, and I love experimental films. I love films that take chances, that take risks, that try to do new things with the genre. As a guy that primarily, only like my primary source with filmmaking and actually in the industry was writing for a while, and they always say you want to make sure you got get the great script first, and then you shoot the script, and usually if the script is good enough, the writing is good enough, you'll have a great film. But this one takes it in a different way. Like it's not a in a way it's linear, but it's not a seemingly linear film. It's not something that is scripted out. There's barely any dialogue in the film. It's one to sit back and to watch and listen to the music of, and just and watch the visuals. That's what this movie does. That's what it's all about. It's there to kind of try and challenge your perception of exactly what the typical giallo is, and it still has all those things there. It has the menacing character, the stalked, the stalked woman, the murders, the nudity, the eroticism, the characters, and I'm not sure if he did this on purpose or not, but some of the actresses that have been chosen within the film, they kind of have a bit of a resemblance to other giallo actresses from back in the heyday. Now let me know if you pick up on that, if you see it, if you've seen this film. But I really did enjoy Reverse, and I didn't know if I was going to. Within the first 5 minutes, I was like, this is a bit much. I'm not quite sure if I get where this is going, and I almost turned on the commentary within the first 10 minutes of the film, thinking, I'm not getting this. I'm just not understanding this film. But I took my time, remained patient, and watched through the film. And I'm glad I did, actually. I've watched through all the features on here. There's a lot of features on here, by the way. There is an introduction by Justin Harris of Film Bar 70. They do some interviews on here as well, including one with Mickey DeEvil, who does, of course, the music for the film. And I think he worked on music for Glass as well, which was actually pretty brilliant. There's a short film called The Dusty Hours and an extended version of the short film. It's okay. It's not my. It's not. It's not up to the level of like Reversed, but it has the actress. It looks like her name, Victoria Hopkins. Looks like the same actress. There's extended footage for Reversed, and this is when the neat part comes in. There's a sequence, and they call it the Baba Yaga sequence in the film, and it is. And I hope I got her name right. Tira Dent. I'm pretty sure it's Tira Dent. Tira Kent. Tira Dent. Anyway, so we'll call her Tira. But I really, really enjoyed her performance in the movie Glass and what she'd done with it. So she has, like, pretty much, you don't see her face type thing. But there's an extended sequence with this actress. And I find this actress such a delight just to see her come on screen, that it was a treat for me to actually just to see these outtakes, these extended sequences of her. We do get to see a bit of her face, and because she's this, like, mysterious, like, character with this camera. It's a journey. It's not a journey that everybody is going to enjoy. This is not something that I can say, oh yes, everybody that watches this film is going to completely get it and utterly love it. But I did. I really, really like this film. Reverse was a lot of fun. It was definitely a bit of a challenge, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to get there, but I did, and I'm so glad that I did, because at the end of the day, when you get a film that's like this, and a film that you know is not for everybody, that you know it's not going to work for every level, for everybody, but it worked for you, there's just this little, I don't know how to put it, there's this little spark of like of enjoyment or recognition that you get, like, okay, this, I can understand why some people may not like this, but I know exactly why I like it. And I do. I liked the actresses within the film. I like the way that it was framed. There's some beautiful shots in this movie. Not just some beautiful like cinematography, but there's some beautiful shots, some still shots used within the film as well that I really enjoyed. Reversed. If you like art house cinema, if you like experimental cinema, if you like to dive into stuff like that and you want to challenge yourself, 100%, I would recommend checking out Reversed. If you're expecting this to be a linear experience and just your basically your regular Giallo, this may not be your may not be your bag. I'll get it out. But for me, I thought it was a brilliant little film. There's the other artwork for the film. If you like Glass, for instance, you're probably gonna like this one. If you like Glass, I think Glass came after this, so you probably have already seen this. But there's my thoughts on Vince D'Amato's Reverse, which I thought was a really, really fun experimental film that went a lot of different ways than I expected, and probably has a bit more owing to Franco and Roland than even he would probably realize. But a lot, if you like, there's a lot of De Palma stuff there. And one of the neat things about this film is you can go through, and it's not like it doesn't like lift sequences or anything like that, but it does homage films. And not in a way where it seems like, oh, well, let's take this to put this in here. No, it kind of in a kind of an organic way. So it's always interesting and fun afterwards to go back and look at one of these films and just see like what films that the director probably watched, or what films were influential when he was writing this film. When you write a film and you make it like 15 pages long, there are sequences within the film here. There's one very important sequence near the end of the film, and I'll tell you right now that the actresses were unaware was going to happen. So that is very intriguing in and of itself, because I think it was a smart decision, because it may have changed the way that the actress or the actresses played the roles that they did, and may have changed some of their. As a guy that wanted to go into acting, oftentimes the more you know and the more you have to lean back on, the more you kind of take from it, and you build and you shift and you mold your performance. But sometimes by having certain key details left out of it for you, it helps the director to mold the performance in a way that maybe you wouldn't think of, or maybe in a way that wouldn't come across in the same way that it would if you knew what was going to happen in the third act. And there's some interesting things in the third act. So there you go. That's my thought on Reversed. It's a different film. Everybody won't like it, but I did. And if you like this style of film, if you like the films that Dark Side Releasing put out, it's a Dark Side Releasing website. This thing has a 16-page booklet along with it with some never before published stills, a decent write-up on the film, and the journey of it as well. So check that out. Reverse from Dark Side Releasing. It is number 2 because they number those things, which is horrible for me because I'm OCD, which means I'm going to get more Dark Side Releasing down the road because so far it's 2 for 2 for me, and I really enjoyed it. Reversed. Does it get like the Call to Cinema recommendation? It does, but it gets the recommendation if this is your style of film. It's not going to be for everybody, but 100% was for me. I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day there, and right here in the Call to Cinema, I finished this, but as you know, my watch pile is high. There is always another movie.